Warning, this video contains strong language and graphic photos. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, my hooked honeys. My name is Leanne, and this is Hooked. If you're new here, Hooked is where we basically tell some true crime stories and do some crochet projects together. And on today's episode, we will be talking about Charles Albright, also known as the eyeball killer. Yes, we will get into that. We'll get into that. And also, I finally convinced someone to come down here and record with me. So on today's episode, we have a very special guest. Okay, so before I introduce my special guest, we're going to go ahead and get into this granny square. I did a flower granny square. So what I did for that is I did a magic ring and then did 8 double crochet. In each of those stitches, each of the 8 stitches, I did a cluster of 4 double crochet and then I chained 2. Once you get there, you'll kind of see that you have a flower kind of shape, and then you'll go through and do your 4 corners to make the square. So in the first one, you do your corner. In the second chain space, you do your 3, and then you'll do that until you have your 4 corners. And on this one, I did 2 rows of the corners.
You waiting on me?
Whenever you're ready.
All right.
Hello. This is Taquan. Hey,
Hi, I'm Taquan, guys.
So we'll just start with the victims first. The first person we're going to start with is Mary Lou. I should probably, because this is what that's about too.
Mm-hmm.
So on December 13th, 1990, a 33-year-old very known prostitute was found dead in a neighborhood in Dallas. The woman was identified as Mary Lou Pratt and was found in only a bra and a t-shirt. She had been brutally beaten and shot in the back of the head with a 44. Yeah. Then, like 2 months later, basically, February 10th, 1991, a 27-year-old prostitute named Susan Beth Peterson was found dead on the same street as Mary. She was almost nude and was shot 3 times, once in the back of her head, once in her left breast, and once at the top of her head. So, same street is, I feel like, is super bold. It's like, that's crazy, right?
If it's Loretta Ave, if you it's really not that often. Like,
What isn't that often?
like in 2 months there was 2 shootings. That's not really crazy. Like,
Oh, we haven't gotten to the crazy part yet. Like, okay, so the third victim was Shirley Williams. So on March 10th, 1991, Shirley, who was always, I didn't mean to say that. She probably always wasn't a sex worker in her life. That wasn't the right thing to say.
Shirley
But
had a good upbringing.
Shirley had a good upbringing. She
You don't
did.
name your child Shirley and neglect her. So whatever decision Shirley made is what Shirley made at an older age.
Yeah, because Shirley Williams, Auntie Shirley. Remember when I was doing the research for that and you said that? That's Auntie Shirley.
Yeah. Everybody got an Auntie Shirley.
That's very true. Everybody has an Auntie Shirley. But her body was found nude and propped up on a curb next to a elementary school. And her nose was broken and she was shot in the face, like through the top of her head, like out through the face. So one thing all of these women had in common, besides what they did for work, was they all had their eyes missing when they were found. So that was not happening on Loretta. Not at all. I would have been, no.
What was happening on Loretta? A lot.
I feel like we woke up to gunshots and went to sleep to police sirens. No. We woke up to police sirens and went to sleep to gunshots. I feel like that's.
It was all day. It's all day. It's a normal day on the block.
No.
Smell the gun smoke in the air. Just take it all in.
I feel like if I didn't hear police sirens waking up, it was like kids walking to the bus stop screaming at the top of their lungs, like fighting in the middle of the street, and then like just going off to school like it's normal.
Mm.
What? Dele? And Fred Albright adopted Charles from an orphanage when he was a young child. Dele was very, very overprotective of Charles, and it caused him to accelerate in school, and he skipped 2 grades. But the good boy education situation didn't last very long because by the time he was 13, he was a petty thief and was arrested for aggravated assault at 13. What are we doing at
Petty
13?
theft and aggravated assault at 13.
At 13. But was
Enrolled in.
able to skip 2 grades. Like, why didn't we just put that into something, more?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. But somehow he was still able to graduate high school at the age of 15 and enrolled in North Texas University. He tried to do the pre med training but was unable to finish. And at 16, he was caught with stolen cash, 2 handguns, and a rifle. I, it's
He had a crush.
a crush?
Yeah. She like bad boys. It's her fault, but keep going.
No, no, we're not going to do that.
Why he wanna be a bad boy all of a sudden? Who he trying to impress?
Probably trying to get away from his crazy mama.
Got enrolled into college at 15 and he got rifles and stuff. I don't know. It's weird. Got a lot of anger built up.
I mean, so I had a feeling. I don't know if this is true or not. I couldn't really find like a bunch of research on his biological mom. I have a feeling that she was a prostitute,
Okay. That's
and
a strong take.
maybe that's why he was.
A prostitute has her that has a child in gifted classes doesn't really go hand in hand. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe prostitutes are great mothers. I'm sure they are.
Well, the prostitute didn't raise him.
Who
The
raised
adopted
him?
mom raised him. He was adopted.
Oh,
Remember?
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
My
I'm saying
apologies.
she could have been a prostitute, and that's why he ended up being put up for adoption because it wasn't like he was fresh out and he
Okay,
was
so he got
adopted.
the guns because he like my mom don't love me. What's going on? Okay, all right. So yeah, it was her fault.
Anyways, either way, a 16-year-old having 2 guns and a rifle is like concerning and kind of confusing, right? Well, Charles spent a year in jail for being caught with the stolen money and the guns.
Damn.
Yeah. So after he was released, he went to Arkansas State Teachers College and majored in pre med studies. But this didn't last too long because he was expelled from stealing or for stealing. But luckily for Charles, he wasn't prosecuted, so they didn't like press charges on him. Which honestly, they
Despite him
probably,
being a repeat offender, like why
yeah,
does he keep pushing for greatness and just doing some just mischievous stuff in between?
I, I don't
Maybe
know.
somebody's like forcing him to go back to school because he goes back to school just to steal and do stuff, juvenile stuff. It's weird.
He's a thief. I don't know. Some people like have like weird addictions. I feel like his addiction was being a thief because that's what like before he started murdering people, that's what it was. He would get in trouble for stealing.
Oh, he got kleptothepmania.
Come on, one more time.
Kleptothepmania.
You said it so fast.
Yeah, man. Look it up. It's a thing.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna look that up. I knew that. Maybe
What?
I didn't know it was that called that, but I
Oh
knew
yeah,
stealing was a addiction situation. Kleptothepmania.
yeah. Took a class on it back in
Learn something.
elementary.
So
It was right before math. We would go to kleptothepmania 1-on-1.
was a whole class?
That's probably where he learned how to steal.
Okay. Um,
His name Charles?
yeah.
We had a Charles in the
Oh my
classroom.
gosh, no. It wasn't the same.
No, we called him Charlie, but his name was Charles. He got
Albright?
real good at stealing too. But go
It's
ahead.
a class to teach you to steal?
hmm
I didn't go to college. So
No, this is elementary.
leave me alone.
All right.
I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, he probably should have been, prosecuted or had something because this didn't faze him in the slightest. He stole documents and forged signatures, giving himself a fake bachelor's and master's degree, degree. So I don't even know how you do that. Like, able to, yeah, whatever.
Kinko's.
Kinkos? No,
Word. PowerPoint.
it's no. No.
Mm.
Anyways, no.
Sure, it's not hard to make a fake document.
But a bachelor's and master, you wouldn't think people would like fact check that?
They do. That's why he got in trouble. he made one that looked legit, and they thought it was legit, and then they fact checked it, and for whatever reason, and lo and behold,
Yeah, I guess so. But he also had,
people fake their resumes all the time. That's not really a bad thing.
yeah, that is true.
I
That's
unfortunately know people who lie on their resumes,
I, no
and
comment.
they get good jobs too from it. Like, oh,
Yeah, no
you
comment.
ride a little longer when you're out here living honest. But yeah, what's going on next?
he um he ended up marrying his his college girlfriend, and they had a daughter together. But he unfortunately continued to forge checks until he was caught while he was teaching at a high school. He was put on probation, and his wife divorced him in 1974, almost 10 years after they separated, which was in 1965.
Dang.
Yeah, so she was tired of it. Why you always stealing? What are we doing?
Mm.
He was caught stealing again, and he stole hundreds of dollars worth of product from a hardware store. What he stole from the store and why he stole from that store is like unknown. But yeah, he was sentenced
It's not
to.
like he plotting. Rifles, hardware store, products. Like, what's going on? Materials, stealing raw materials and shit. Like some food, jewelry,
Yeah.
cash.
Oh, he got the cash too. He ain't.
Oh, he stole the cash
He
too.
stole some cash. Remember when he stole the guns and the
No, I
rifle?
mean in this situation,
Oh nah, he ain't. I don't
yeah,
think he
he just
got up in
stole
that.
raw materials.
Yeah.
So he was on his plankton shit, trying to take over the world.
Yeah. Well, he only got sentenced to 2 years in prison for this. And do we think that he served all of that? You think? No.
I'm assuming though. Like,
No. 6 months.
oh yeah.
He served 6 months of that.
Was he getting off? His lawyer's a motherfucker.
Man, I'm
Like,
like,
what's he
what?
telling the court? Like,
I don't like. He was getting out of a lot of things, but after he was released, he decided to start spending some neighbor time with his neighbors, and he began to like become friends with them, and they would even ask Charles to babysit their kids, which be That would be an absolute hell no for me. No, thank you. You've been no,
Right.
no, thank you.
He might steal them.
Or worse. In 1981, Charles was visiting some friends and he molested their daughter, who was 14
Okay.
years old.
Okay.
Yep.
That escalated. So he's just all over the board with crime.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a thing.
Nope.
He just whatever is wrong, he'll do it.
And again, this is before the murders and stuff.
Oh, he gonna murder people too.
Yeah, the people we talked about in the beginning, the prostitutes.
So who he molests?
He molested a neighbor's, like one of his friends' daughter. Their 14
His
year old
neighbor's
daughter.
friend's daughter?
Well, a friend, neighbor, friend slash neighbor.
Which one is it?
Both.
All right then. So his neighbor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how did what happened
So
from that?
he was definitely prosecuted and he pled guilty and got probation.
He got probation.
Probation for molesting a 14-year-old girl.
Probation, like not jail.
Not Joe. Got probation for molesting a 14-year-old girl.
Wow.
Yup. So, yeah, he had to have been like 48 at the time too. So,
Just the whole criminal rap sheet and still getting off.
like, what are we doing?
Like the system is keep putting him out there. Like, all right, let's see what you can do next.
And he had the nerve to say that he was innocent, but only pled guilty to avoid a hassle. Avoid a hassle.
Right. Would hate the hassle of taking the time to prove my innocence that I didn't molest a 14-year-old.
Like,
No big
somebody
deal.
come punch him in the throat.
No big deal.
Somebody please come punch him in the throat.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm broken. That
We could have ran that case for 10 years.
man.
If I felt like I ain't do it, nah, come on.
Anything. If I didn't do it, no.
Prove it.
Go ahead. Like, nah, I didn't do it. Like, let's go ahead and do this. Like, I'm ready.
You don't plead guilty to nothing like that you ain't do.
A 14-year-old girl. What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
And you got registered as a sex offender, so now you got a label. Yeah, nah.
And
hassle, man.
Right.
What, the hassle of being found guilty anyways, even if you didn't plead guilty? That's the hassle.
Exactly. So he was a very bold man. He applied to be a leader in the Boy Scouts of America in 1984 and was denied because he I don't know, like he thought, like, why would he think that he was going to be able to do that with a criminal record like the one dude, you just molested a 14-year-old girl and thought he was going to be in like the Boy Scouts leader.
How old is he?
Like 48.
Was he a Boy Scout before? Kind of grown man just wakes up one day and says, I'm going to apply to be a Boy Scout leader.
This one? Because, right. But, no. So, then, after that, Charles basically conned a woman named Dixie. He basically conned her because she was taking care of him, paying his bills, going to work, basically just like doing everything, feeding him, clothing him, paying for everything. And while she was doing this and bringing home, all the money, he was delivering newspaper and he would be going to see prostitutes in the midst of delivering his newspaper. So in the morning, not even normal like people when they go see him at night, on the block, he went in the morning time. That's how he started his day. After he delivered his newspapers, he would go and see prostitutes while she was like basically taking care of him. Like, no, well, she was taking care of him, and I just feel as if he's not okay. He's a grown man and he's delivering newspapers for a living. Like,
Yeah, he getting a lot of childish jobs.
what are we
Boy
doing?
Scouts leader, newspaper delivery, like all jobs for like a 14, 13-year old.
So 5 years later is when Charles decided to take things to a whole new level. And since he was a kid, he had a fascination with eyes. So him and his adopted mom would they had like the similar interests of taxidermy. So they would find animals that were dead on like the side of the road or whatever. And they would bring them home and they would enjoy stuffing them together. But the only problem was is they couldn't afford to get the glass eyes that people usually use for that stuff. So they would use buttons from her like sewing kit collection or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But he would often go to the taxidermy store and like just like run his hands over the glass eyes. Like just feel them. That came off kind of weird to me. I don't know. Like, what are if I was a store like working at the store, I'd be like, "Hey, little boy, you gotta go. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that." But I don't know if this is what like made him cut his victim's eyes out, but I really do think it was worth mentioning
Mm-hmm.
because why are we going to a store and just feeling on eyeglass eyeballs? I should have got one. I should have went and got a glass eyeball for this episode. It just had you like messing with it until we got into it. You'd be like, nah, I don't want that anymore. So, if you didn't notice, Charles committed these murders only 2 months apart. He killed three prostitutes in the Dallas area, which was Mary Lou Pratt, Susan Beth Peterson, and Shirley Williams. And on March 22nd, 1991, Carl was arrested on the murder charge. And later he was found guilty of the murder of Shirley Williams, but was suspected in the other two murders of Mary and Susan. So he didn't get charged with those two. He only got charged with Shirley's murder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Charles died August 22nd, 2022 or 2020 at the age of 87 while he was still in prison. And um, there wasn't much of like what happened. You know, they blame everything on COVID at that time. So I seen a lot of that, but it's not like 100% sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kicked it in 2020. So he was done being a menace to society in 2020. Yeah. How you feel about that?
He lived a much
Well,
longer life
yep,
than
he should have.
a lot of righteous people.
Yep. You,
87 is a long time, especially to be in jail. Like, he lived a very long life. This guy, most people's
the serial killer I
grandparents
did,
die at 75.
man, the serial killer I did last episode
This
lived
dude
to
almost made
88.
it to 90. 88?
Yes, died in prison around the same time. I believe it was in like 2020, 2021 or something stupid like that. Yes, he killed like a whole bunch of people.
Gotta find out what their diet is.
With their diet.
What do serial killers eat?
Prison food.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that other dude died in prison too?
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe
Yeah.
prison is where it's at.
No, it's not. Whatever it is, that grub that they're feeding them is clearly keeping them alive.
If you want to live long, go to jail.
Prison.
Prison.
Yeah. I think they're very different.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't either, but I've I've known people that have been in jail. I don't know anyone that's been to like prison. My beautiful beings, that was the case of Charles Albright. Please stay safe out there and make sure y'all stay hooked. If you want to see the finished product of what I made today on this episode, feel free to follow me on Instagram at hookedwtruecrime and make sure you subscribe because I'll be here for you every Wednesday. Love y'all.
Bye.